What's up, DC Nation? Back to another review of Justice League. And guys, this is actually the final issue in the Cold War story arc. And guys, this whole story has been written by Robert Venditti. This is actually his second story arc in this Justice League run. He actually did the Invasion of Superman arc, which that was pretty solid, but also very simple at the same time. Now, this arc, I thought it was going more complex, right? I was like, alright, so the Justice League were turned against each other, they fought against each other, Wonder Woman versus Aquaman, we had the Spectre get involved, we had the Amazons, more about Wonder Woman lore, pretty much. The last issue ended with the Justice League coming face to face with Tartarus. Tartarus we always thought was just like a location, a pit, like a bad place to be, but it's actually a god of hell. So as like Wonder Woman describes in this issue, pretty much every culture has their boogeyman, right? To scare children. Well, Tartarus is that for the gods, so he's pretty powerful. So he's gonna be a big threat in this issue, but also throughout the world, we see pretty much everyone divided. We see people just like enacting their vengeance on people. So people going after, hitting each other, going against each other. And this is all because Jim Corrigan pretty much abandoned the Spectre. He pretty much went to Tartarus and stopped being the Spectre. He's like, nope, deuces, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, he's pretty much, he doesn't want to be in that. He doesn't want to have guilt. He's like, I've been pretty much the Spectre for so long. I just want to have a peaceful life. But that can't be. The Spectre pretty much, in a way, told him, nah, you can't just be Jim Corrigan. Like, we have to be together, or the whole world will pretty much have vengeance. And that's what's going on at the beginning of this issue. We see people going against each other. We see the Justice League fight out against Tartarus. It's actually pretty dope. Like, Tartarus looks really cool. When he's like smashing down, looks really cool. But we see all them fighting. Batman tells Jim Corrigan, hey, you have to go back to the Spectre, or all this will go bad. Like, we don't want pretty much all these people dying. We don't want Tartarus getting free. So Flash actually takes Jim Corrigan as Tartarus actually almost kills Jim Corrigan. Flash runs Jim Corrigan to like another part in the Tartarus location. And Jim Corrigan looks up and he finally decides that, okay, you made me realize, and this is him talking to the Spectre, he's like, you made me realize that I have to be with you. Like, pretty much, if I'm not with the Spectre, if Jim Corrigan is not with the Spectre, then the whole world will pay. So finally Jim Corrigan accepts that. He's like, I will come to Spectre again. And we see all these different ghosts going to him, like laughing ghosts pretty much, just vengeance going into him. And he pretty much gets the Spectre back in him. So it's actually a pretty big moment. So after this, everybody in the world, all the vengeance goes away. So now it's back to like peaceful life. But we still have the Justice League versus Tartarus. So what happens is the Justice League finally gets the upper hand against Tartarus, because during this time, actually before this, John Stewart was actually holding out the Amazons. Because the Amazons were trying to kill each other, and John Stewart's like, hey, if you try to kill me, at least you won't be killing each other, and I can hold you off with all my constructs of the Green Lantern Corps. But since now they're not trying to kill each other, the Amazons can help the Justice League. So now we got the Amazons, John Stewart, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Batman. They're all fighting against Tartarus, and we think they beat him. Like, he gets destroyed. But then he comes back up, and Batman's like, man, there's no way to beat him. And they all pretty much are caught by him. They think they're gonna die. And it's actually kind of a weird moment where Batman's like, hey, I forgive you. They all forgive each other, which it felt a little random. Like, it went with the story kinda, but it felt just like, alright, like, Batman forgives Superman for not telling him about how he exposed his identity to the world. Aquaman, like, all the different, like, pretty much arguments they got in a few issues ago, which I just felt like that was shoehorned in this part of the issue. But we see all that happen, but then Jim Corrigan, he releases the Spectre, right? And the Spectre's like, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And he's like, thank you, Jim Corrigan. They finally realized that pretty much anger is not the answer. Absolution. And guys, absolution is pretty much like releasing guilt, releasing punishment, pretty much getting away from it. And that's what the Spectre want all these heroes to see. That pretty much anger is not the answer to pretty much solving your problems. Like, you gotta go through absolution and pretty much release this punishment, release this guilt, so now you can move forward. And guys, Spectre pretty much redoes everything. He beats Tartarus. We don't really see the fight. All the Justice are transported back to the Hall of Justice. They learn something that pretty much they're stronger together. They're not like pretty much, they have to be trustworthy. They can't lie to each other, which, okay, that's an okay message. And Jim Corrigan just pretty much, he's back with the Spectre, and that's how the issue ends. So it's a pretty simple ending, not really awesome. Like, I wasn't really blown away by it. And honestly, the Spectre, when he got released, I was like, man, we're gonna get an awesome fight between him and Tartarus. Like, I was honestly expecting Crisis on Infinite Earth style. Like when Spectre went against Anti-Monitor. Well, actually, more about like that cover of Crisis on Infinite Earths, where you see the Spectre going to fight Anti-Monitor. The Spectre's like huge and stuff. I expected that with Tartarus. Like, that would have been awesome. But instead, it's just like Spectre just rewrites everything, and everything goes back to normal, easy. So that was kind of disappointing. But this entire issue is very simple, quick, to the point. It's a very fast read. The action was pretty good. It was cool seeing Jim Corrigan come back with the Spectre. But this entire story kind of wrapped up simple. Like, it started out very complex and interesting, but how it wrapped up was just kind of like, alright, that's it. Like, not really anything like big or interesting at all. But the thing that carries this issue is Eddie Barrow's art. And guys, Eddie Barrow's art, which I hope I pronounced that last name right, his art is fantastic in this issue, especially how he draws Tartarus, Spectre, the action sequences, Jon Stewart, how it like lights the way when he's fighting against the Amazons, and it just looks really good. Like, I really feel like the artist really pushed this issue, because Robert Venditt's writing this issue wasn't really fantastic. It was okay, but it wasn't anything like, oh, this is best work. It's just kind of like strict to the point, where Eddie Barrow's art was very good and actually made this issue worthwhile, and I think worth the price of admission. Like, I think his art made it worth buying, where the writing was just kind of simple. But guys, overall, I would give this issue a 7 out of 10. It's passable. It's not really great. Like, yeah, it is a resolution, but not really the resolution I was really looking for. Like, it's a solid resolution, but nothing really awesome. And Robert Venditti is actually jumping off the book. We actually have a new writer next issue, which we'll see how that writer does. I haven't looked into which writer will be taking on this book, but I hope he does a good job. Robert Venditti overall did a pretty solid job with the Invasion of Superman in this arc, but like, he was more like simple stories. Like, yeah, the action was great, and seeing all his heroes like Superman and Batman teaming up with each other, but I wish Robert Venditti went a little deeper, because this felt, his whole run, these two story arcs, felt more like a breather from Scott Snyder's run, not more like, oh, big stuff is happening. Which, that can be good and bad at the same time. Like, I like a breather once in a while, but I also want a very interesting storyline at the same time. But yeah, guys, in the comments below, tell me what you thought about this issue. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you think about this entire story arc? Do you think it was an awesome resolution? Or you think Robert Venditti could have done a little more? And what do you think about Eddie Barrow's art? Do you think he's a pretty great artist? I think he did a great job in this issue. Like, I really liked his art in Detective Comics and other series, and I wasn't surprised here that he did a great job. But guys, if you liked the video, give a big thumbs up to the channel, make subscribe. This is my next Justice League comic review. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.